Hi, so I'm Akriti Mohitanan, director at Harsamil Shamlal Jewelers, Bareilly. So today we're bringing a very interesting conversational series for you. It's called Talk of the Town, which shares stories that go beyond jewelry. Now, this is because at HSJ, our ethos is deeply rooted in strong social and cultural values of small cities like ours, Bareilly. So, Talk of the Town is a very inclusive series that will share exciting stories, some inspirational journeys of people from all different facets of life. So, today our topic is something that is very relatable but also exciting, and it's called Women at Work. So, here I have a very diverse group of women with me, very strong, powerful women with me from different professional backgrounds, different age groups. So let's get into their stories, and we look forward to sharing very exciting content with you. So, Shubhangi, can we start with you?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me who you are and tell me about your journey to where you are today.
So, hi everyone. I'm Shubhangi Mehrotra, and currently I'm working in the education and hospitality sector. As of now, we've been in the books and publishing business for about good 24 years, and very recently we also ventured into the hospitality sector. So currently, I'm managing the business with my dad, which is Modern Books and Conrad Publishing, and also I'm the director of Ramada Encore Bareilly.
So, Shubhangi, you are very young, and I want to know, like, so you studied in Bareilly. Your schooling was in Bareilly itself, and then I know for your undergrad you went to Bombay.
I went to Xavier's.
Okay, great. So tell me, first of all, did you always know that you wanted to, join your father's business?
Since childhood, I feel the career chose me.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
But tell me something, after Bareilly, Bombay must have been a great experience. Undergrad must have been lots of fun there. How did you feel coming back to Bareilly?
So I feel a lot of it is in your head, because at some point, if you know that you want to come back to your city and contribute to the city where you were born, so you will come back and do the same. But if you don't have that mindset from very early on, then maybe things are a little different. So with me, it was always the case that I was very inclined towards business. So with me, I always knew that I want to come back to my city. And now that I'm married, I have two cities, Bareilly and Kashipur. So I want to give back to both.
That's wonderful to hear. Okay, so Parul, moving on to you. So I know that you don't belong to Bareilly. So maybe start by introducing yourself and then we can delve into your chapter.
Yeah. Hi. So I am a mom, daughter, wife, and I've started looking after Alma Mater School. And we've recently introduced our new specialized kindergarten, which we've opened in DD Puram. That's my second baby. So if you step into that school, you can see me everywhere. From the interiors to the designing, to the chairs, to the washroom designing, everything is done by me. Wow. So, yeah.
So Parul, I know you were married into Bareilly. So tell us about, where you're from and how has life been after moving to Bareilly?
Yeah, so I am from Kanpur.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've studied fashion. So I have a strong love for fashion. I can do fashion every day, every minute.
Okay.
So fashion has been a very important part. It's played a very important part in my life. So after coming to Bareilly and after getting married to a education background family was a very different thing for me, because as people see an educationist, they believe that if somebody is running a school, they have to be strict, they have to dress appropriately. But if somebody knows me, they know that I love to play with colors and I love to design myself. I accessorize myself. So statement jewelry is what I focus on. So yeah, I've changed that concept. What people think that somebody has to look like this to conceive this profession.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. So tell me, how was your journey from, having a background in fashion, or maybe like, did you study fashion design or anything?
Yeah, I did fashion management.
Okay. So from fashion management, now you are managing a school. So, how was that transition? How did you equip yourself?
My son, after I conceived my son, he nudged the education thing in me.
Okay.
So after having him, I was interested in doing kindergarten early learning programs. I did my NTT. I did my B.Ed, and he was just 1 year old when I started my B.Ed. So my exams were going on, and my anniversary was there, and my birthday was there, but I was back home studying.
Wow.
So 2 years were all, and he was just one then when I
Right,
started doing.
right.
So yeah,
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
So managing a lot of things at the same time. But what was the idea behind having a specialized kindergarten? Like, what was the inspiration?
So when I thought of sending my son to some place, so obviously the school that I have been introduced to, he's going to Alma Mater school. But when you see schools which are in metros,
Yeah.
and you feel कि ये school क्यों, ऐसा school क्यों नहीं है यहाँ पे? So we have tried to open that school, which is activity based school, which is a play based school, and you don't just learn through books. You learn through experiences, through exposures, through excursions.
Right.
Yeah. So we've tried to bring in a new thing in the city.
Okay. So more applied learning, which I think is very required, because again, like, everything is getting disrupted, and I think education as well. Like, we need to change the way we educate the younger generations, right? Okay. That's great. I'll bring that up, because then I want to cover roadblocks also. But I think I also want to relate that I think you're not working in the fashion space anymore, but I think that creative and that designing mindset, you
Yeah.
have carried that on with you in setting up this very specialized school, like you mentioned in the
It has helped.
yeah, yeah. And I think that has been the differentiating factor. Okay, so Janvi in the hot seat. So now I want to go to our youngest member today, Janvi.
Hi.
Why don't you introduce yourself?
So hi, my name is Janvi Mehrotra and I'm the director of this place, Ramada Encore by Wyndham Bareilly. And I'm a 21-year-old studying BBA in my third year, and I'm handling my father's business side by side.
Wow, so you're in your final year and you're working at the same time.
It's been 2 years.
It's
of
been
me
2
working.
years. So you start working in your second year.
Yeah.
How are you managing both the things?
It's easy when your family supports you.
But don't you feel like, you want to go out with friends after college? You want
I have that time also. Evenings are for friends, but till evening I'm at work or sometimes studying.
Okay, okay. So, I mean, you have family support and you have a good, support from your friends in town as well.
Yeah.
So you're able to manage both
Yes.
of them. But like Shubhangi, were you also, growing up, did you also know that you wanted to join?
I always
Your
knew that
father?
I had to do my father's business only.
Okay.
I think when I was in third grade, that time I realized that I'll continue doing Papa's business only.
Yeah.
And mom and dad also pushed both of us in doing the business.
Right, right. So I think, Janvi, that's a very good mindset to be a young business leader, and all the very best to you. But we'll come back to you for more fun questions. So, Dr. Monica, I want to learn more about what your journey has been so far.
So as you already introduced me, I'm Dr. Monica. I'm a pediatrician, and now this is going to sound very not like your younger generation, but because my grandmother was from a family of doctors, so she wanted somebody to become a doctor. And way back then, we did listen to what they wanted us to do. So I was made to study, and my mother was told me to drill me to study and qualify the exam, and that's how it all happened. And then there was no looking back, of course. So that's how I started getting into this profession, and of course now I'm all head and close everything into it. And yes, the journey has been fun. It's been tough, a lot of hard work, lots and lots of studies, and sleepless nights. Yes, a little tough but fun.
Okay. So
I have no regrets for that.
that's great. I think I want to know a little bit more because I relate that you went to boarding school as
Yes,
well.
I did.
So you were at Vellum Girls.
Yes.
After that, I want to know. So boarding school can be very different from going to
Yes.
medical school.
Yes.
So how was that journey for you, the medical?
That's the thing I kind of said. I had no idea that I really wanted to do medicine and nothing like medicine. Because like you said, the boarding schools are more glamorous and they really don't put you into professions like medicine and engineering. They're more about entrepreneurships and into, I think, media and fashion and those kind of things. But yes, like I said, when I got back home, I had a grandmother who pestered me to do it, so I got into that. And yes, both the areas of education were very, very different, extremely different. Though, but then in the medical college, I think that's what's required to make a doctor. The hard work, the resilience, the diligence, and all the paraphernalia that you have to follow, all the things that your seniors, your professors are telling you, though you really don't want to do it at that time, but yes, that's a part and parcel which you learn, and that probably cultivates you more than grooms you to become what you are.
Right, definitely. And what got you into becoming a professor as well?
Alright, so I would say, you want a genuine answer, I can tell you that. So yes, what happened was like when I started my profession after I got married, I had my children. My son was born when I was doing my post graduation. And yes, and though I just completed first year of my residency and I had 2 more years to go, when I came back here, it is a struggle to establish yourself with all those navigating between home, children, and profession. I thought that now, though I did do it for quite a long time, then I thought that maybe to go into academics would be a little more relaxing and maybe a little more conversational. And like I'm sitting with a younger lot here, so I am now with the younger lot there, making the doctors now what I was doing way back then. So it is nice to become. It's very nice to know that you are the one who is now making the doctors who are going to be coming into this.
So very full circle moment
Yes, it's
and
like
a
kind
feeling
of
for
going
you.
back the whole circle.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that's wonderful. And I also want to know now your daughter is going to med school. So was that her idea or was that a little nudge from you?
Yes. Now again, I'm being honest. Like most of the children, she was very indecisive on really what she has to do. Though she had taken up sciences with biology, and despite that, she was still into minds if she really wants to do medicine or do something else. So probably a slight nudge from me, but the rest of the hard work goes to her.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so moving on to. So, last but not the least, Mama, I know your journey, but why don't you tell the larger group about yourself and your journey up to now?
Yes, I think most of them know, but still, for the wider audience, I am Ruchika Anand, director at HSJ Bareilly. And so, I was never very career oriented. I enjoyed a luxurious and a, happy go lucky person who, after going to school, thought after school and college that I would get married and that's how I was actually living. But yeah, the family that I got married into, my mother in law, she was a working woman. All the ladies in the family were working. Yet I never had the inclination because I had children and I was happy to bring them up, educate them, and. Then, after both the children had gone to the boarding, so it was basically, I think as a way to pass my time, that I joined work. But after I, you know, started going to work regularly, I kind of started enjoying it. The whole experience of meeting different people, it wasn't so much jewelry specific that I was enjoying jewelry, but what I actually liked to was meeting different kind of people, different age groups, and trying to see, you know, what the mindset of the people is, not only towards jewelry. Like, you know, when we are talking to people, you talk to them about their education, what the younger lot thinks, how the parents think. Marriage is a big thing in and smaller towns all the more. So I was kind of enjoying that, and in that process, yes, I got into jewelry also, and a little bit of designing and what would look nice with what. And yeah, so I started enjoying that. And but yeah, one thing that I realized when I was working full time, when I began, it was just part time, 3-4 hours in a day, which was good. So I was socializing also, and that happens in a family business. You know, at times people don't take you seriously, but the other side is that you don't take the work so seriously.
You have that.
Yeah, you have that liberty. So, but what was I about to say? I've forgotten.
Full time. When you started going to 3-4 hours.
When I started working full time, I realized that managing home and managing work at the same time, reaching work at one particular time, was quite a difficult thing, because I'm like a perfectionist at home also. I don't like things to be done not to perfection, not to my liking. Everything has to be prim and proper. So that was quite a challenge. Though we have a well staffed house, yet if you don't look into things, the house does get a little topsy turvy. And that's the time I realized that the younger generation, which is working full time today, I have seen so many of them. For example, Shubhangi is recently married, and I mean, I get inspired by this generation because she's recently got married, and I heard that, you know, she gets up early in the morning and she's ready at 9 o'clock to be on a con call with her office people, her staff, and everything. There are people who have children and yet they continue working, and I actually, you know, at times ask them, now, how do you manage? How do you manage a home, bringing up children, and your work? I don't think I could have. I mean, that is something that really inspires me as far as this generation is concerned.
But I think it's been a journey for you as well, and I think any stage that a woman goes through in life, I think it will always be a journey. But I feel you've handled it gracefully, and when you know, I see you at the showroom and you are, you know, talking to your customers and getting involved in their stories. I think they feel better, they relate to you more, and you know, it's vice versa. Like, you're also able to give them the right kind of, you know,
Yeah,
jewelry that suits them.
Yeah, so I enjoy doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, nobody knows what goes behind the scenes.
I think we'll have a chit chat on that.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
I love to know people.
The thing is that she is the dreamer who's trying to put the dreams together.
Maybe you can say that, but actually, you know, at times when people come and they start, I can make out who wants to talk. And at times, I'm very curious to know what their life has been like, what are they thinking as far as. So, jewelry, of course,
Is a part of it.
is a part of it.
Yes.
Jewelry is a part of it. And there are some people who are fond of jewelry. There are some who are not fond of jewelry. Then there are girls who are working and they want a specific kind of jewelry. So why do they think like that? What has got them there? That is, and in the conversation, people are very forthcoming and they love to talk. That is what I actually enjoy. More than the jewelry, maybe.
So I think we also interacted at HSG only. Because my
Yeah,
in-laws,
yeah, yeah,
they,
yes.
they used to interact with your mother-in-law.
Yes, yes.
We interacted, we spoke a lot.
A
that
lot,
time.
yes. First time that we met, I think I met you first time at the store.
Yes.
And I think I've made a lot of good friends at the store itself. That is there.
But I love the way Auntie talks. And one example would be of Anushka Devi's wedding. When you, before the dance, when you said why you were dedicating this dance to her. When to वहाँ खड़े खड़े, I was so impressed.
But was that something you had prepared?
No, I
Because-
hadn't. No, I hadn't actually.
That's her talent.
Yes,
She's
yes.
an impromptu dancer.
That's another thing that I love to do. I really love to do.
Yes.
At times people tell me कि बस करो. But
Yes, they're still opening. But yes, definitely a dreamer and a storyteller.
yeah.
That's nice.
Okay, so moving on. I want to know. So we're from different professions again. I want to know when you got that first salary in your hand, that first paycheck, what did you splurge it on? Anyone can go.
Okay, I remember it was my first stipend when I was doing residency, and way back then, if you don't mind, I can mention it. It was 12,000 rupees, and this I'm talking about 1999, right? And
That was quite okay for
that was
that time.
quite okay.
Yeah.
Yes, that was quite okay, and I was terribly happy that I had that. And since I was married, like one of the Agyapari bahus, I thought that I'd buy a sari for my mother.
That's so nice.
And then, of course, half salary was on my mother's sari. And the rest of the things I think I bought for my mother and then my sister.
That's
Yeah.
so thoughtful.
Yes. But I was excited to buy for all of them.
It's a great feeling. It's a
Yeah.
great feeling.
It was.
Yes.
So it was like, yes, that's when I was selling. So that is the time.
That's so thoughtful of you.
So when I got my first salary,
Yeah.
as you would say, there was nothing as such that I felt that I wanted to splurge on or anything like that. But yes, the feeling was great that
Yes.
I mean I can just do anything with it.
It was a
What
feeling
it-
of independence.
it was a feeling of freedom, of power. I don't know whether money brings power to you, but yes, you feel worthwhile. That of course is there. So I did not splurge it as such, but yeah, the feeling was really I was on cloud nine.
That your hard work had led to, you know.
It wasn't hard work.
No, that's very motivating.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is.
Exactly.
Money is a motivating factor.
Yes, it is motivating, and then it pushes you to work further
Yes.
and work further
Yes.
towards.
Yes,
So
and
it's-
then it makes you more responsible also.
Yes.
that I would now want to know that non-working days is the salary card.
I'm either traveling for work,
So that's
mostly
okay.
I'm traveling for work, so it's a paid leave.
So my first stipend was from an internship that I did in Bombay. I worked with a sneaker brand. And at that time, Janvi really wanted a hair dryer. So I thought, I'll buy that for her. And I feel when you start earning, then more than buying something for yourself, you feel like buying it for the people around you, your family. But then I felt that, but I was going to buy something for her. But I liked something for myself. So even with that thought, I ended up buying something that I wanted.
It's the thought that counts.
I'm sure Janvi's hearing that. She's feeling bad about it.
Yeah.
So did you fight for it?
No. She was doing it on her own will. I did not ask.
Okay.
Is the hair dryer still due?
No, she got it. Yeah.
As far as I am concerned, the salary part, my father was my first boss and is my first boss. So I always got whatever I wanted from him. So I have not put that much, thought
Yeah.
Into it.
Okay.
But I think you should start telling him to give you.
No, I get my salary.
Okay.
I spend it on majorly Zomato orders, online shopping.
That speaks of your age.
Yeah.
So I think with me, I really had to convince my father that I want to work because my father is a businessman.
Right.
So for him, sending me out for work was a very challenging thing for me.
Okay.
So when I got my first salary, I had taken a picture and sent him the picture. He was so happy.
Yeah.
But he's like, बस 3 महीने और काम करना है, फिर वापस घर आ जाना है. And I convinced him for 4 years. I was working with a fashion house for 4 years. So that I think working made me realize the value of money because till the time I was studying, I was in Amity, Noida. So I was full pampered. हर सैटरडे पार्टी करनी है, हर मॉल में जाके शॉपिंग करनी है. But I have become a true Marwadi after I started working. Now I save every penny I get. So if somebody gives me any money, I save it, and my husband is like, "कहाँ खर्च करोगी? कहाँ save करती जा रही हो? You want to spend everything what I have? अपना कुछ नहीं निकालने. What will you do?" One day.
But that's super intelligent.
Yeah. I don't want to spend. I don't spend much now, even on anything. Like I love fashion, but still I am a very sensible. Yeah.
So do you restrain yourself, or you are
I
generally
don't restrain.
now not so
I
much?
feel fashion. Abhi to fashion is a fast fashion. You have to decide what will stay. So I spend on classics.
Okay.
And I remember I saved money and I got myself a Meenakari ring because I had always seen my dadi wearing Meenakari jewelry and borlas and kamar band. So I was always fond of her jewelry. So when I got the money, which was my money, I end up spending it on a Meenakari ring, which I'm still wearing, which I wear every day to work. So that's a jewelry piece which I adore.
Very thoughtful.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, that speaks something about a person who's getting into fashion.
Yeah,
Exactly.
because that stays.
That stays,
What you're fond
yes.
of, even
That stays.
if you've changed your profession,
Yeah.
but the inkling would never die.
That stays. But like what she said, what I've changed at Alma Mater
Yeah.
is a kind of a fashion thing,
Yes.
even if you've done it as a part of architecture. But
Yeah,
then, yes.
So I wanted to know, what did you splurge your first salary on?
Okay, so I got my first salary working a consulting job at a Big Four firm, and I had always thought again that I would give back to my mom and dad. I'll buy something for them, but I was home for I think Diwali holiday or something. It was around that time that I had joined work, and I saw this beautiful pendant that came into the store. So I was like, "Papa, I'm giving back to you."
By buying this.
So yeah, it was a small pendant that then I wore every day, and again it was a reminder of the work that I'm putting into my work, and it also connected me to home when I was staying away from home. So yeah, that was what I spent it on. But tell me something now. Since we're talking about fashion, a little bit of jewelry and everything. So one of my school friends, she is now an accountant, works again at a Big Four, and I got into this discussion with her. At the Big Four, like any firm, we go through this etiquette training, right? So the way you dress is a huge part of it, and during COVID, everyone was working from home. Everyone got used to, dressing more casually. When she started going back into office, she had to wear formal wear again. And, people had started coming in casually. So there was actually an email that went out to their firm that please, dress up for work. And she was very, she didn't like it. Because her thought was that, I'm an accountant, like I'm certified, I'm licensed, I have this education, I'm working at this firm. So that, like, my merit should speak to myself. And the way I dress, how does that matter? And, my thought process was that that's fair. Like the fact that she was representing the firm spoke for her qualifications and her experience. But I was still of the thought that dressing appropriately for the workplace is a sign of respect to yourself and to your client or whoever you're meeting with. So this is like in a different setting, but you're from a business background. You're a doctor. What is your opinion on
I
this?
agree completely that dressing appropriately is important. It's not what if you're in a tailored suit. You could be in a sari, depending what your profession demands and what your clientele demands from you. If I am dealing with patients who come from all kinds of backgrounds, they can be from the villages nearby or they can be from the city. So probably the dignity of a doctor, me being a female doctor, me sitting in a sari or a well-starched suit does show that you are there at a different position altogether and you're there to listen to them. And if I come shabbily dressed, maybe in my nightwear or just come anytime because I don't have working hours, I work when my work demands. So it does not really reflect well on you. I feel, yes, dressing appropriately is important.
And I think जैसे हम आपके प्रोफेशन की बात कर रहे हैं, पेशेंट्स आते हैं.
Patients
If you are not dressed appropriately, maybe they don't draw that confidence that okay, they're
Absolutely.
talking to somebody who's educated enough to handle their problem.
And people look up to you.
Yeah.
Definitely. And it's not only like if I am a doctor, people are looking up to me. When we are in hospitality areas, of course, we will look up to,
Be
and we would
anywhere
be
when you-
expecting,
Anywhere.
we would expect a particular, probably that hospitality that we would expect when we come to a hotel. So obviously, if the chairperson or the director is dressed in a particular way, you know what you are going to receive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Anywhere
it is
you
just,
have
yeah,
to
like
have
you
that.
just mentioned that a friend of yours, I agree, COVID got us all into, relaxed
Casual dressing.
dressing and all that. But that was for the fact that we were
At
at home.
Right.
So nobody is expected to dress up at home. You're going to be in casuals. But when you're out at a workplace, appropriately dressing up is extremely important.
And it gives you that sense of confidence also.
It does.
Definitely.
Right,
It does
right.
give
This is
you
your
a-
personality.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I feel that, when I'm getting ready for work in the morning, once I've, like worn like maybe a jacket or something, then I'm in a different mode altogether.
Yes.
You feel
Right.
professional.
Yeah.
I think also the way you dress can be a very big non-verbal cue. So before you say anything, the person in front is already taking you or perceiving you for what you are, the way you have dressed. You're representing that.
Right.
Basically, it's the first impression.
Yeah.
Before anybody can talk to you, they look at you.
And I
As a
think when
whole.
you are dressed up in your appropriate dress for the occasion maybe your professional front or maybe when you're out or maybe when you're partying, you yourself have a level of self-confidence.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
of course, and then that shows out in your persona when you're dealing with your kind of clientele, any kind of clientele, wherever we are professionally. So I think that oozes out confidence.
Yeah.
I tell you, though our society was not bad, we were family oriented, which I feel at the end of the day is important for all of you. You may be out, you may be working here, studying out, but back of the mind, all of you are so secure that we have a family.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
And that is one thing with all of you growing up. Maybe all the things that you're doing very bindasly, I would say, is because you know that you have somewhere to fall back on.
Yes.
So that is, I would call you second generation children, where you know that you don't need to support your parents. You don't need to, what you need to do is just for yourselves and not for any of your family back home. And you know that they are there. if
Yes,
anything
yes.
goes wrong.
That's true.
So that is also another thing that I think builds the confidence in one. So it's not exactly
Strong support
yes.
system.
Yeah.
They had to start
They
from
had to
scratch.
start.
Exactly.
And with the advent of the net, there's so much exposure that you could do. We had to read, go to the library even if you didn't want to go and find out what has to be done and what not. So things were like exploring out on something was a task. I remember when I was doing my thesis, only the National Medical Library in Delhi had all the material.
Oh.
So running all the way from Meerut to Delhi, and they had an internet which was just come up initially, and it was much faster than what we had in our department. हम लोग एक दिन Google पे सर्च करने लगाते थे तो वो अगले दिन खुलता था. So probably yeah, absolutely, and that big dabba for computer. And
Of course, it was like that.
It was
Usually
this is just the starting
wasn't
when
that.
I was doing my residency and I had to do it with my thesis, and I had to travel all the way to Delhi to the National Medical Library to extract the literature that I wanted.
My
And of course, I really needed to, pamper the librarian, that she would give it to me in odd hours also, and that she should give it to me because
Yeah.
it was very difficult to travel every day and go and get the material from
Yeah.
there. So, for you, things are much different. All this is already given to you. It's not given to you; it is there for you. Basically. So, even if you're taking advantage of it, I won't even say advantage. It is your way of working. So we are now, we've seen this way of working and we've seen that way of working. So we've traveled a particular route.
Right.
So that's how we can have children like you and balance our parents.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've seen both the
Yeah.
fronts. So I think that is the reason we are trying to strike a balance between Indians and our parents.
You're a Gen Z.
Yeah. Both of us are Gen
Yes.
Z. You're a millennial.
So,
I'm,
Monica,
I'm on the cusp.
Cusp,
So I'm 96
okay.
born.
Okay.
So somewhere I'm addressed as a Gen Z.
Aman, you
I like
report
to
हो
say
रहा
I'm a millennial.
I have this fun incident at my workplace, and I was just taking my round in the pediatric ward, and there was this newborn baby, and I told the mother, कि इसको जो दवा दो, हिला के देना. So she said, ठीक है. And I went and sat
I
back
can
in my
imagine
own
what you're trying to say.
And the sister came running to me. डॉक्टर साहब आप आइए एक बार वार्ड में देखिए क्या हो रहा है. क्या हो गया, बच्चा ठीक है, कुछ हो तो नहीं गया उसको. से नहीं आप आइए. I went back to the ward, and two of the attendants, अपनी एक दुपट्टा था, probably a sheet or something. The baby was in the sheet, and they were like, so I said, ये क्या कर रहे हो आप? So he says, डॉक्टर साहब आपने ही तो कहा था दवा हिला के देना.
मतलब हमने जोक सुने ऐसे. जोक सुने.
I know. This is a true incident, and I think we all had such a laugh, and I think the whole day went like that. So next time, whenever I go to the works due date, I tell them shishi.
My God, I can't believe this actually happened.
Yeah, actually.
Oh God, it was amusing. Absolutely.
But that made your day.
Yeah.
But Monica, tell me something. You are a professional, right? जो मुझे लगता है जो professionals होते हैं like a doctor or maybe a lawyer or an engineer, it is ingrained in them कि हाँ वो काम करेंगे ही करेंगे. You are a doctor, you won't let your education go waste by not practicing or not working. कभी ये नहीं लगा कि यार कहाँ फंस गए? मतलब I don't want to go to work today.
Oh, absolutely. It's all the time.
I really wanted to be a doctor.
Yeah.
Really? You really did? It's such
I
a long
love
tenure.
bio.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
till
nice.
10th grade.
I
But
agree.
फिर 11th में मेरे को लगा मैं इतना पढ़ नहीं पाऊंगी.
I'll give you another incident to that. Even I'm in shock on that.
Really?
When we were in school, so as soon as we went through our board exams, we didn't get this break or go back home because the term was end of May that you get your summer break. So we had to choose our subjects and start on that. So initially I had taken up commerce, and because that time we used to write letters to our parents. We did not have this phone system that you had to tell them. So probably I didn't mention anything on the subjects which I had taken. Probably my parents had already taken it for granted that I do sciences. So when I went home and my father was sitting with me, he said, "Beta, kya subjects liye?" I told him, I said, "Papa, मैं तो commerce लिया है." So it was like difficult for him to digest, and then it was like, "What do you want to do with that?" So this MBA thing was not very happening, or maybe it was not a very thing of the times. Like people were doing management, but yes, chartered accountancy was very much our time thing. So I said I want to become a chartered accountant. And my father, being a businessman himself, he says, "Do you know chartered accountant के साथ कैसे businessmen आके handle करते हैं? Will you be able to do that?" And I don't think that's the right profession for a girl. So I was
हाँ
like,
ये थोड़ा सा क्लीशे होता है
होता
कि
है, हाँ,
लड़कियों के लिए ये
absolutely.
प्रोफेशन ठीक
ये
है.
नहीं वो नहीं है. So I was like, no, but I really want to do this. I don't want to do sciences. So he was saying, beta, fir soch lo. Though I had a father who would never, impose anything on me. But then he said, I still feel that you rethink, and when you go back after your holidays, decide on the subjects that you want to take. So I was kind of a rebellious child. I said, no, I continue with commerce. So, and I said, Papa, this is generation gap. That you don't understand.
Actually,
And
I think all of us have said this at
and
some
he
point
was
of time.
so hurt. He said, I have always let you do what you wanted to do. Though my father is also from Sherwood, so he's also been a boarder, and he's also had that kind of a thing. But yes, our times, it was defined. Girls do this, boys do that, and that kind of a thing. So I said, no, I continue. He said, fine, you do what you want. And probably throughout the holidays, I had this nagging thing that he's not liking my subjects. I went back and I switched to sciences. Actually. And then, when he came for my first outing, that's when I informed him, no, I'm now taken up sciences. Actually. So those are things that, those are the difference from your times and our times.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
Shubhangi, you were in Bombay. You were never bitten by the Bollywood bug.
Yeah.
No, auntie,
Yes.
never till date.
Though you're very pretty yourself.
Exactly.
Thank
Get into
you.
modeling or something like
So
that.
Didi really wanted
initially,
to.
Really?
no,
Really
initially,
wanted,
Imagine,
my
so
mama
these are-
was so scared. शुभा दीदी कहती थी कि मैं तो मिस वर्ल्ड बनना चाहती हूँ
so there's a
So
very
these
funny
are
story.
secrets coming
Yeah,
out.
I was very fascinated by the media world, and I would watch Miss India, Miss Universe, Miss World.
हम
And
लोग सब देखते थे
Yeah.
ना?
no, auntie, I would watch and I would practice those questions alone in the room.
Oh, that's one step.
Yeah, I would question myself and I would give that answer also. So then we were just sitting and I said, oh, I really want to, go and participate in Miss India. Then my mom was always very skeptical of it. She started crying one day. Oh, I don't understand
But
this.
Papa always
Yeah.
pushed her to do whatever she
Yeah.
Oh.
So my dad said, okay, if you want to go, you go. Then after 10th, I gained a little bit of weight. So my mom was like, okay, अब क्या ही
अब तो जा ही नहीं पाएगी.
So I was during my school days, I was more into extracurriculars, and I've played state basketball, and I've been in cultural, dance, and dramatics. But I was never into studies. I was average.
Yeah.
So, but then I have got married to a family where they run schools.
Right.
So yeah, it's a very funny thing, but yeah,
So you are an educationist yourself now.
I have.
But credits to you that you did what?
B.Ed,
yeah.
Teachers
Yes.
training and all. But that's good.
And probably you introduce all the curriculum now in school.
Yes,
So
yes,
that's
yes.
important.
And your experiential learning has added to, in building that specialized school as well.
Yes. So let's see.
So I also have a story to tell.
Yeah, tell us.
It was Didi's 24th birthday, I guess, the one before her marriage.
Okay.
So I planned a surprise birthday party, very lavish for her, and she did not know anything about it. And when the decor was over, everything was set up. Then a staff from the hotel shot a video of the whole thing and sent it to her because she had tightened him up a few days before कि मेरे को सारा सब कुछ record करके भेजा करो party start होने से पहले. He did not know कि surprise birthday party है. तो दीदी जब आ गई venue पे सब surprise मेरे को लगा surprise हो गया तो she said I'd seen this earlier itself. शंकर ने मेरे को भेज दिया.
No, auntie, but I did not see it. He had sent me the video, but it gives you like a blur of it, na? What is in the video. So I knew that it's the decor. So I did not see it. Yeah, but he had sent it to me because I've told the staff that anything that is happening at the property, I need the video of it. Yeah.
That's really good. And I think, Auntie, like you were saying, that in your time, technology, was difficult to get to. But I think our work, it has helped us in our
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
it is.
Yeah.
Because she can manage work staying in another
Exactly.
town.
Everything is on my phone, and I feel this difference while working with my father also because if I'll show him something on my phone, he'll say, "Beta, meko sheet do. Give me a printout." This is not how I work.
I think I can really well relate
Yeah.
with your father when now I have my students who get their thesis, they get it on their laptops.
Yeah.
And they ask me to do the corrections. I tell them, sorry. I just cannot read through it and I can make corrections because it's so difficult. We have that visual memory from the book or the paper and pen
Right.
writing.
Paper and pen. I need to write everything.
Yes. So
Yes.
if they expect me, they were telling me, ma'am, you can make corrections, you know.
Yeah.
You can make corrections on the laptop. I don't know if you people know, but I can't. So it is like you can make our corrections.
Right.
And then I would not be able to go back to the previous page and tell you what is that stupid. Just get it all into me.
They must be like, ki,
Yeah.
oh.
But ठीक है.
No, Monica, just a few minutes back you mentioned we had these old teachers and imagine life come full circle.
Absolutely, yes. We had those, but then fine. I cannot help that. I'm not like we can do a lot of things on the technology and on the media and things like that, but not everything.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's a bit of a handicap, yeah.
So we're all women at work. I want to know, how do you handle your fiscal responsibilities? Do you invest? Parul, you mentioned you save a lot. So are you investing? Do you invest in stocks? What are you doing? Are you investing in gold maybe?
Yeah, so I feel men in the family, they feel that they are investing. If anything, if you're buying any real estate thing or shares or bonds, whatever, so this is a family decision. But if we want to buy a jewelry, that's a personal decision.
Right.
And I feel women, we have jewelry, so we have the power. They feel they have the power, but they don't. We have the power.
We always have the power.
Yeah. Yes. So I spend my savings on jewelry. So I'm from a jewelry background. My father owns a jewelry store. So I have seen investing means investing in gold.
Okay.
That's what I have seen all my life, and I believe in that. That investing in gold is something that it can be a heirloom thing also, and it's investing also.
Right. And with the recent market scenario, I think people who've been investing in stocks.
Investing
and the
in
women who
gold
are
was a
investing in
better
gold
thing.
are better off.
Yes, so they did not know a Trump would happen.
That's true.
They're trying to abolish the capital gains
Yes.
tax in
Yes.
the market.
So I actually had to convince my husband that he was into no, we should buy shares,
Stocks and shares.
stocks and shares. But I had to convince him, no, jewelry is a better thing. So that's a good call which I took, which he
Yeah.
regrets now
Yeah.
that he didn't.
Gold is not great at this.
Okay, but I have something to say on that. Maybe I'm fiscally independent, but not at all responsible. And yes, I think all the responsibility I've left on my husband. Where I don't even, I think, look back to see what is happening and not. Probably it's a drawback, but I never looked into that front and never paid attention, which I think we all should, and it is
I agree.
the need of the hour. But every time I think about it, that even I should be knowing, I still take a back foot. I don't know why.
And I think even I'm the same because I also don't. I mean, the interest is not there.
Yes, the interest is not
Not there.
Not there at all.
But I think the trust is there, and more so the value is the same, right? That
Probably, yes, Akriti, but I feel that, at a particular point, it's not only about the responsibility, it's about knowing where your
Awareness.
responsibility
It's
and the
awareness.
awareness that
Yes.
we should be knowing
Right.
what has been invested and what not has been invested.
We should be knowing it.
We should be knowing so that at any point of time, you're not at a back foot in knowing what has been done for you. So that is important.
that's true.
Yes. So probably I think it is important to be fiscally responsible.
Yeah, it's
also.
not
It is
only
not-
working
yes,
and being
it's not
financially
only
independent.
I've
It's all
been
about
independent all my
financial
life.
awareness.
Yeah.
But the idea of managing your finances is also very important.
Yes.
What
Which
do you
I
guys
think
think?
they are doing now.
They're doing. I think that's what I said. They're sorted.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing.
As you said, every man in the family takes care of that. So is my father's like that. My husband is also like that now. He knows about mutual funds, stocks, bonds, shares, everything. Even I have some knowledge of it, but not as much as he does. But having said that, I do invest, and I have investments for me, and I also invest for Janvi.
Okay.
Nice.
So that is what I do, and I'm not that aware. I'm still a beginner, but I'm trying to learn day by day.
Right.
Because I feel learning is very important. Otherwise,
Yes.
you'll make mistakes.
Definitely.
And these are very risky investments. So it's better to play safe.
But you
If
have
you have-
somebody to
if you
guide
have-
you
yeah,
now, hands on.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you have the knowledge.
Yes.
And then guidance
Right.
as well.
Yes.
And I think it's important. I mean, especially when it comes to investing, I think you have to, or maybe anything, you have to continue to be a lifelong learner.
Yeah.
You have to learn from your mistakes, and especially in investing, I think everyone's
Nobody's
strategy-
perfect.
Yeah.
Nobody knows it.
Exactly.
Everything.
There is always the ups and downs.
Yeah.
But then
Exactly.
I think still that's a learning point.
Yeah. And one should try and learn.
You
Yeah.
always
Even I will.
diversify your portfolio with age. Whether it was our fathers who had done it.
Right.
Or now
Yes,
that we are doing.
absolutely.
You
Right.
always diversify.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
true.
That's true.
That's true.
So portfolio should be a good mix of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It should
Yeah.
be a mix of I think the gold also and the bonds. And the property. So yes, of course.
And suddenly we go back, Monica, and we start saying that, okay, we want to
We
know.
want to do it. But I don't think we'll live up to it. Way back we go.
I'll ask you 2 weeks later. I'm like, Auntie, do you know yours?
Yes,
Portfolio now.
I'll try and work up to your answer.
So since we're talking about women and their goals, Indian women, this is according to the World Gold Council, they collectively own around 24,000 tons of gold, which accounts for, it says, about 11% of the world's gold reserves.
Wow.
And this exceeds the gold reserves of the top 5 countries combined. This is
The
not
Middle East?
India's reserves. This is gold in the household that women of India own.
Oh, wow, I'm so glad.
And I think our law also protects it.
And that's why in India, the jewelry that a woman owns is called Stridhan.
Yeah.
Yes.
And rightly
Exactly.
so. It gives a lot of security, and that's the reason parents want to give jewelry to their
Yes.
children. I see so many families coming where at times girls say that मैं नहीं पहनूंगी, मैं artificial पहन लूंगी, but they say कि मत पहनना.
Yeah.
Just keep it.
It's about giving that protection,
It's
that safety.
giving
net.
that
But you know, I've
security.
seen that when you girls come to the marriageable age, initially maybe you're saying that
Yes.
नहीं पहनेंगे, but जब खरीदने जाते हैं, then you're all like,
Yes, yes, yes.
What you
Everybody,
want?
yes, yes, yes.
Am I right, Shubhangi? Just like that. Yes.
And I think
I'm
for
sure
the
you want
family, it's a fallback option always.
And I think even a father who's giving away his daughter, he feels that I've given some security to my daughter.
Yes, yes.
Even if she's working.
Yes, yes.
So I think that culture that we have, probably that's the reason for all the gold.
Yes.
that we
And
go.
actually, Monica, somebody said this. Like the daughter, she said, "Ki, Papa, I'm working."
Yeah, I won't be
So
very.
बैंक में ही पड़ा
No,
रह
it's
जाएगा.
not about working. She said, I don't need it. I don't need the security.
Yeah.
So what he meant to say, कि I want to feel good that I give you some
Yeah, I
security.
gave you the security.
Yeah,
That is more
yeah,
important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yes, I think, and I'm so glad I love the figures.
I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
Proud Indian women.
Yes.
Rich Indian women.
Absolutely.
Yes. And I think, I think it's our cultural values,
Yes.
and it's an important investment asset for us, which the West sees it as a fashion accessory, but we see it as an investment for the family and for future generations
Yes,
as well.
yes. And for us.
Exactly, and for yourself. But I do want to know, what was the first piece of jewelry that you all bought, or what's an important piece of jewelry to you?
I can tell you the first piece I bought. That was again, I had saved a few salaries of mine and still doing my residency. And I bought this Navratan earrings and a ring and a pendant.
Okay.
So those I really used to wear with lots of love and all the passion that I used to have. And the initial years when I started practicing, so on the ventilator you had patients staying for a long time. There used to be this mother, her baby stayed, unfortunately stayed for a long time with me. And every time I was sitting and counseling her, she would always say, "Ma'am, ये ना आपके बड़े प्यारे लगते हैं मुझे." So I used to really gloat, not telling her, but this is what I actually got from my saving of my first, from my salary.
Right.
Those initial days of my salary. So that was nice, yes.
So like she said कि इनके पेशेंट इनको बोलते थे, मैं अपनी दादी को बोलती थी कि मेरे को आपकी ना ये रिंग बहुत अच्छी लगती है, मेरे को ना आपकी ये रिंग बहुत अच्छी लगती है. So she used to say तुम्हारी ये मैं तुम्हें दे दूंगी जब तुम्हारी शादी होगी.
Okay.
But शादी से पहले ही मैंने अपने लिए ले ली थी.
I said, but you should have taken that one from your grandmother.
Yeah.
So my sister has that. I took some other jewelry of hers, which was also very
Yes.
pretty.
Yeah.
So yeah. So it's a Meenakari ring. I always I love Meenakari. I don't know. I think because of the colors they use.
Yes.
The reds and the blues and the whites.
So you're actually a very colorful person.
Yes, yes.
So that's the jewelry. Even the choker, Meenakari chokers, they're very different from the normal chokers, the kundan chokers or the polki chokers. So I prefer colors even in jewelries.
Okay.
So yeah, the Meenakari is the first ring that I bought for myself.
nice.
Yeah.
So I am yet to buy my first piece of jewelry, but because all the jewelry that I have is given to me by my set of parents.
Okay.
My parents and my in-laws. So I don't know what I will buy, but I definitely know where I will buy it from.
So in my case, same as hers, my father only got me whatever I have. But I really like diamonds.
Okay.
Oh, so that's nice.
So you'll get a lot of diamonds. We'll all make sure you get a lot of diamonds. As for me, I never had to. Though I'm from a jewelry background, married into a jeweler family, but I was always a very minimalist person. And I think it was only rings that I used to wear earlier. And I'm talking about my younger days. And I got my ears pierced when I was in class 12.
Really?
Yeah.
I just didn't want to. And now look where I am, just like you.
Yes.
Yes.
And what about you?
So, I think I told you about the first piece of
Yeah.
jewelry I bought. But, I think being from like belonging to a family that works in jewelry retail, any milestone that I have accomplished, I'm always gifted, a piece of jewelry. So, initially, Dadi used to give me like, big earrings or like traditional looking things. So, I was like, you know what, let me use this opportunity to get the jewelry that I want. And I think over time I've realized that it's been really nice because then every piece of jewelry I have has a meaning attached to it. Like this bracelet I wear, this my dad gave it to me after I completed my masters. I have earrings from Dadi that I got when I completed my undergrad. So I think every piece of jewelry that I have has like some memory and some sentimental value attached to it.
And yeah, Monica, like you said, that girls do say that they don't want it. But I have seen her. She was also one person who was never into jewelry and things like that. But it has changed majorly. Majorly changed.
I think it changes.
Yeah, it
Once
does.
they come
It
to
does.
the thing, maybe she won't wear it as often, but to have it
Have
as
it,
a belonging,
yeah.
I'm sure it's good.
Yeah, yeah.
Jewelry is very fascinating.
It is.
Always.
It is. I have a niece who's at a marriageable age, so she's also like, I'm not going to be wearing all this, don't buy me anything. But when my
But when you
sister-
wear it,
yes, I think probably when she'll wear it or when, my sister's trying to talk to her about it and all, so she is responding, so I see the change. So by the time she is, going to actually get into it, probably she'll have bought herself something.
Same was with Didi.
Yeah, I think I've seen that transition with myself also.
Yes.
All my wedding jewelry is from HSJ.
Yeah.
And the first time that I went to the store, and now if I will ever whenever I go to the store next, there will be you also noticed that change, right? Initially I was like, no, I don't want anything.
She did not even try. I
Yeah.
used to try for her.
I remember.
I know that you love it.
I remember the first pendant that she bought. She said, "तुम मत पहनना, मैं पहन लूँगी." And she just bought it. Yeah.
Thank you everyone for coming, and to our audience, hope you enjoyed the interesting conversations we had about women at work. And stay tuned for more content on Talk of the Town. And like Shah Rukh Khan says, छोटे छोटे शहरों में बड़ी बड़ी बातें तो होती ही रहती हैं.